Right. Let me go across to Uday Ved. He joins us from Mumbai. Uday, you'll have to ask me your question because the two chairmen aren't going to be able to hear you. So I'm going to have to tell them what you're asking. So if you can specify to me who you'd like your question asked to.
Now, first of all, whatever I heard in last 15 minutes was a lot of music to my ears, so which is a good sign. Clearly, but on the litigation front and the tax environment is really becoming very aggressive, and Mukesh touched upon on the administration side. So clearly there is a gap between policy and implementation. So what is government thinking about it, particularly under the new direct taxes code? One of the key objective is to reduce litigation, and we already have dispute resolution mechanism under the income tax law currently, which has not worked that well. The first year experience has not been good. What are the steps that we want to take that could really minimize litigation? I think that's one key thing. And second, a question which is linked to that is huge amount of, again, litigation on transfer pricing. So what are our thoughts on that? I think that's the one thing that I would like to ask Chairman about it. Thank you.
All right. Uday's question essentially has to deal with minimizing litigation. The dispute resolution mechanism in year one, Uday says, has not really worked satisfactorily. So what is your department planning to do in order to reduce litigation? And you know, how can we actually see what you were saying, that the taxman is going to be this affable, amiable person, actually be translated into reality on the ground?
Uday, department is alive to the situation that DRP has not really addressed the issue of reducing the litigation. But this being the first year, let us wait for another year. But I can assure you, we are very much alive to the problem. And coming to the implementation part, a lot of administrative measures we are taking. Return filing is being made easier and easier, processing quicker, issue of refunds, I am saying in the same month, if you file your e-return after April. And as regards general reduction of litigation, I can mention about government litigation. The limits to go to the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, High Court and Supreme Court, very recently we have revised. Initially, after getting relief from Commissioner Appeal, there was a limit of tax impact of 2 lakhs, which has now been raised to 3 lakhs. To go to the High Court, rupees 10 lakhs. And to go to the Supreme Court, 25 lakhs. Initially, we could go to the Supreme Court if the tax effect was 10
lakhs. But you're acknowledging yourself that the resolution mechanism has not worked.
In the first year, 1 year is too short a period. But of course, we are alive to the situation.
Okay. Uday Ved, they're alive to the situation. They acknowledge the fact that it hasn't worked. Are you satisfied with that answer?
Yeah, I think that's right. Maybe we could have used this, and I don't know whether it is still possible. There are hundreds of thousands of crores locked up in the litigation today, and could we not have come out with some kind of a one-time, settlement scheme to reduce tax disputes, which is also in line with what the DRP is saying, and there are a lot of issues, recurring issues, even for the large Indian corporates, and the litigation just goes on and on.
Question to them. The fact is that could we not have, Uday's asking, have had a one-time settlement scheme, in this budget? Would that not have been the practical way forward in this budget?
Dispute resolution scheme came only last year. It's not even 1 year. So it would be too soon to say that it has not worked.
Okay.
We'll wait for some more time.
All right. In 10 seconds, final comments from all three of you. Mukesh Patani, let's start with you.
Well, I was expecting some level of implementation of Kirit Parekh committee recommendations. I think the crude oil prices this year is going to be plus $100. So I think 5% customs duty and specific excise duty is just going to make situation worse. And second, on the dispute resolution panel, I was hoping that there would be some legislative amendments which will empower this collegium of commissioners to really strike a compromise, because I think the other side of the story is that when you talk to many friends in the department, they feel that they are constrained because of the wordings in the law.
All right. Rajiv Mamani, 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, I think we are banking on 20% growth. On both direct tax and indirect tax revenues. And I think most of the measures that have been taken are almost revenue neutral. So I do hope, and just sort of going by the theme of this panel, that doesn't mean that innocent taxpayers are harassed.
No, the taxman is going to be affable and charming, is what he assures us.
And we must find ways, and there has been a lot of discussion in the budget speech and also in some of the amendments that you brought out, where people who have not been honest in paying their taxes, I think they are appropriately dealt with in a very, very speedy fashion.
Very clearly, in terms of a trade-off between inflation and growth, FM is plugged for growth, so there's no question about it, and that's welcome, I guess. And if there is a play on growth, and if you're extending the base as far as indirect taxes are concerned, that's also a positive. Very quickly, 4 things that I thought ought to have happened didn't happen. Reduction of the CST rate didn't happen. Not only that, there has been in fact an enhancement potentially from 4 to 5% on the maximum rate of VAT on declared goods, which I believe is completely retrograde. The SAD was clearly something that we could have looked at as in terms of abolishment. There were good encouraging signals, didn't happen. And finally, I think the crude 5% was also expected to go away, didn't happen, because I think that was directly addressing the inflation challenge. 4 things didn't happen. But otherwise, I'm very pleased with what has happened.
The final word from you, sir.
We are going in for the growth with reforms, some of them which I've said. And so far as the central excise and service tax is concerned, we are looking forward to a good GST. And customs, the administrative simplification is being done, self-assessment is being, and that will work, and rates of duty are also gradually coming down. We have not increased the peak rate, we are still maintaining at 10%. So I think we are on the right course.
All right, Mr. Chanda, Mr. Majumdar, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time here on CNBC TV 18, and my many thanks to our tax panel for joining us here this evening. Uday, many thanks for joining us in Mumbai. Well, we'll take a quick commercial break here on CNBC TV 18, but do stay here. All the action live and exclusive coming up right after this short commercial break.